I need to get something out of my chest. I've come across as angry and arrogant in my biblical teachings in the past. Due to my persistence with this video series, and that one video where I went too far, some of you have rightfully been concerned, if not angry with me. In this video, I want to confront that, and apologize. I've been studying biblical theology for some time, and it's really helped me with my faith. As I continued reading the Bible and studying theology, I've learned some things that I was shocked that I didn't know before. A particularly scary part was not knowing I was doing something wrong. This has taught me to be more humble, and has encouraged me to make this series. But, as you very well know, not just with this series, but also at times on Instagram, there were times when I went a bit too far and hurt people's feelings. Because of this, people have described me as arrogant. Someone who firmly holds a position, being completely biased. This has led to some arguments with some friends and family. I am highly sorry for coming across as forceful, but at the same time, I'm going to continue with this series. I'm not making this series because I think I'm superior to everyone else. I'm not making this series because I see as anyone of different beliefs as inferior. I'm not making this series to state that I am the best person ever and you should listen to me. I'm simply making these videos because I want to share what I am convinced is the truth. I've had some people suggest, no one watches this series, why even do it? Well, actually, I think it's picking up on popularity and I'm learning a few techniques or two. I've noticed some of the videos in this series have been getting more likes, and I've also shared them on Instagram, and a lot more people have liked them on Instagram. Also, to those of you who still suggest that I'm arrogant, again, I'm highly sorry for coming across that way, but do arrogant people apologize? And do arrogant people admit that they've goofed up and done wrong? No, they don't. An arrogant person, by definition, holds on to their status. And they never admit they make mistakes. So yes, I was forceful, but am I arrogant? No. I know you people are highly critiquing this series, but the best way to not receive critiques is to do nothing. And this is still a learning process for me, and I'm learning quite a lot from doing this. And besides, topics like this are kind of like big elephants in the room at the end of the day. They are some of the biggest concerns that mean a matter of life and death, what happens after this life. And yet for the most part, people don't want to talk about it for understandable reasons. No topic gets people more on their toes and personal than the topic of religion. I understand it's a very touchy subject, but I'm doing this series not because it's a blind faith. No. In my studies, I found out that there is some intellectual evidence, and I just have to get it out there, whilst also giving some biblical wisdom. I'm also learning to improve on this series. Some people have suggested, has their parents even seen this monstrosity? Yes, they have, and they liked it. My parents really do enjoy my content, but they want me to make the content shorter. Good news, this is one of those shorter videos, yay! And again, I know I've made the more skeptical viewers angry. Now, I'm not going to say who specifically is giving these comments, but I've received one or two comments stating that I've become extremely self-centered. I looked at that comment and I thought, if I really am self-centered as he claims, then perhaps everyone would probably notice this as well. So, again, without revealing the names of those who gave the comments, I showcased the comments on Instagram, and I asked my friends, with an open mind, are these comments good critiques? Should I ought to listen to him? Or is he simply just ranting? I gave them the choice to choose that I am legitimately self-centered. I gave them that option. And to my surprise, not a single one of them suggested that I was completely self-centered. Also, for those of you who asked, sorry for getting personal, Ronald Smith didn't leave the Reactaholics because I was going too far. He left simply because life was getting busy. Ron and I are still really good friends. In fact, Ron's a Christian too. Now, to the skeptical viewers watching this, you're probably just getting really frustrated just by listening to this. But know this, if you're critiquing me, you have the burden of defending what you believe in. Because here's the way I see it. Regardless of what you believe in, at some point, you need to investigate the truth for yourself. You need to find out where this came from, where that came from. How did this get started? Why is this happening? Who founded this? Who did that? And if there are any contradictions in a certain belief, then by default that means that that belief can't be true. The same thing goes for Christianity, okay? But there have been complete unbelieving skeptics, like Lee Strobel, J. Warner Wallace. They were skeptics who studied the evidence for themselves, and they became Christians. There are hundreds of stories like this even to this day. If there's a question that you have, just simply investigate it. For example, some people might claim that there is no truth, but a smart person would come along and say, is that true? Is it true that there's no truth? Because if it's true that there is no truth, then that claim you just made there can't be true either. That is a self-contradiction. Because the claim there is no truth is ironically an objective truth claim, so that contradicts itself, so that can't be the truth. Critique without alternative is meaningless. I think it was Dr. Vince Vitale who said that. You can make all the strong critiques you want, but whenever you're criticizing me, I'm going to assume that you have something better in mind. If the alternative critique is no better than what I believe in, then it must be false. For example, I've had a friend of mine who said, the universe didn't form the way you think it did. To which I asked in return, okay, how did the universe come to be, if it's so orderly, and has to obey specific laws that could only come about by intelligence? To which my friend responded, I don't know, it's all random. To which I then responded, wait a minute, if everything's just random, that means the formation of your brain is also random. In other words, how can you even trust your own brain if it came about randomly? In that instance, you don't even know if you're asking me the right question. To which my friend went, and I went, aha, gotcha. I've had another who is criticizing my worldview, at which point I went, okay, if you're saying that my worldview is wrong, then I'm assuming you have a much better worldview. But my friend said, we don't have a purpose. Everything's just meaningless. At which point I went, I see. He then ranted about how worthless he was, and I said, no, you're full of worth. Don't say that, you're absolutely significant, you're talented. You can be funny as well. I then told him about various ways about how the universe is so complex it could not have come about by chance. To which point he then said, well, that's a good suggestion. He eventually had enough of me, so I said, okay, I'll give you your space. I am extremely sorry for coming across as forceful. That was not my intention. I'm no better than anyone else. Again, if I were arrogant, I would not have said this. I have made various videos where I apologized in the past. And I've also made various videos where I confess that I've done really, really bad things that I regret, which is also part of the reason why I made this series. And you know what? Maybe these critiques are a good thing, because by confronting them and finding potential contradictions and issues, we could eventually get to a deeper truth. A good friend of mine, Neil Michael Burris, or Arthur Taylor, most of you know him as Dr. Neiltopus, has had discussions with me in terms of these videos. He and I still have some theological disagreements, but we're still really good friends. And he encouraged me to take a look at some of his videos in the past where he talked about his faith in Christ. And ever since then, I've been willing to take his criticism, because Neil's criticism had a good alternative to be more gentle. So yes, I am willing to listen to criticisms, but there's got to be a good alternative to them. So once again, I'm highly sorry, and just know this. Next time I make a video in this series, or in any other platform of social media, just know that I mean well. The point is, there's going to be agreements and disagreements. And some of my friends are dealing with some really difficult issues, leaving them with many questions about what I believe in. I'm just in it for the truth. A truth which has continuously led me back to this.